Open your ears and lube up your butthole. It's time for the What Do We Call It podcast. Now, here's your host. It's Jmann. Welcome to the What Do We Call It podcast. I'm Jmann, and with me today is...
Number one fan, Tim.
Hello.
Hi.
Hot for Teacher, Van Halen. The episode of Family Guy where Chris got hit on by his hot teacher voiced by Drew Barrymore, who then tried to engage him in a love tryst to have her own husband killed.
Never seen that episode.
The episode of The Simpsons where Bart finds out that Miss Krabappel is applying to magazine ads to find men, and he pretends to be...
Woodrow Wilson
with a picture of fucking Gordie Howe.
Yep.
Well, the thing here is there's a theme in America where we have quite, it seems like, the obsession with teacher-student fucky-sucky going on.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
I read a news story yesterday about
really?
a teacher in North Carolina fired for having sexual contact with 3 of her students.
3 of them?
3 of them.
Okay.
This is not like a new thing. The last 15 years, there have been tons of teachers having sex with their students. And oddly enough, the trend is to bang more than one at a time.
Yeah, and it's usually a female teacher.
Well, yeah, no male teacher is going to get stuck with his hand in the cookie jar. He's going to go to prison for a long time.
A couple have, or they've been caught with, inappropriate pictures in their laptops or computers or whatever.
Well, there was that guy in Oklahoma that fucking took that 15-year-old on a cross-country trip that ended with a manhunt, and when he got arrested, he said, "We had sex most nights," and then his wife left him.
Well, yeah, I can understand her leaving him.
That's how it goes for the guys. The women, they usually get off pretty easy. Probation, they might get work release, or they get the charges reduced. But it happens so frequently that I felt compelled to do an episode on it. Also, there was a story, 50 hot teachers who had sex with their students. That's how many have done it, that they could single out 50 of them.
That were the hottest.
Yes.
That doesn't include the uggos.
It does not. So the chick I talked about was in North Carolina. A lot of these are in Florida and Texas, South Carolina, North Carolina. They've had their fair share. It's the majority, the southeast is where this is going on.
Oh, yeah, I can see that down south.
Yeah, well, most of the boys that are getting all this fun attention are typically between the ages of 15 and 18. Very few times are they younger. There's one teacher of this 50 that was fucking a 13-year-old.
Oh, that's gross.
That's your son's age.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine if his teacher came on to him and then he did stuff with her?
I don't want to imagine it, no. But...
Even, let's say a teacher just showed him her tits. Pubert would jizz right in his pants.
Yes, he would.
Or he might start crying and come home and report it because he doesn't know how it makes him feel.
No, I think he would be pretty okay with it.
You think so? He'd be like, yeah, titties.
Yes.
Have
his uncle got him some posters for Christmas that are, well, basically the poster I used to have in my room, girls in bikinis and whatnot.
Uh-huh.
So, and he likes them.
Of course he does. Of course he does. Because what kid doesn't want pictures of scantily clad women? Anyway, so when I read the story yesterday, I thought, just for shits and gigs, I'm going to Google teachers having sex with their students. And as you can see right there on the monitor, I had 119 million results on Google in 0.73 seconds. That's how many fucking stories there are.
Well, some of them are probably multiple stories on one teacher.
Right. But still, 119 million hits in 73 hundredths of a second. That's how much American teachers love to get their freak on with their students. And then that led me to the Brofessional.net. Had the bad teachers with the 50 teachers who had sex with their students. I would just like to point out that of the 50, I went through them to see if I would fuck any of these women, if they were good looking. 31 of the 50 I totally would bang.
Okay.
Only 10 of them that I say no. And there were 9 maybes. They're kind of borderline.
They put a paper bag over their head.
No, but they were attractive, but when compared with the other 31, I was like, oh, no, honey, no.
You can't just look at the list and be like, well, I'll bang all 50. That's just boring.
And I noticed a disturbing trend in the beginning that the majority of them were blonde, but it ended up with 22 of them were blonde, and the other 28 were brunette. I don't know what that boils down to. They say blondes have more fun, but clearly there are some good-looking broads that are fucking their students.
Oh, yeah. I've seen the news stories, and there's some of them just like, why couldn't she teach at my school when I was in high school? I never would have told.
Yeah, no teacher ever gave me any sort of attention like that. Never in any of my K through 13 and even college did I feel like any of my teachers were coming on to me. And the only teacher I ever was worried might try something was our homosexual choir teacher in 7th grade. I forget his name, but goddamn was he nerdy.
I had 4 teachers in my K through 12 that I would have totally banged.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Like, I went down the list. It's like kindergarten. No, people thought that the PM kindergarten teacher, people said was attractive. But looking back at it now, she kind of had like a fucking Rodney Dangerfield horse face. So I don't know whose standards we're talking.
My kindergarten teachers, no. None of them at my school.
1st grade, no. On my teacher, the one in the classroom next door was kind of butch and got divorced. And the 3rd 1st grade teacher was a 60-some-year-old nun. She was one of the only nuns left at the Catholic school I went to. 2nd grade, no, and no. Because my homeroom teacher was elderly.
Same here.
The one next door was old and not attractive. She kind of had a face like Hordak from She-Ra, the Princess of Power. And then there was the one to the right who was my math teacher, and she was just a big, bulky uggo.
Yeah, my 2nd and 3rd grade teachers or the other classrooms were not attractive. And one of them was actually... No, that was 4th grade. Never mind. One was a guy.
No.
One of the...
That's weird. What are you saying? Are you saying he was a handsome man?
No, I was trying to remember. It's like not every teacher in my elementary school was female.
Hi.
The majority of mine were 3rd grade, not my homeroom teacher. The one next door was not attractive, and then the one next door to that was one of my classmates' moms. And then, oddly enough, I thought that the one teacher that ended up being my 4th grade homeroom teacher, I wanted her because she had a big butt.
You like big butts and you cannot lie.
I don't know. I was just like, she's got a big butt. I hope I get the big butt teacher. And I did. And then the one next door was a big fucking hulking lesbo who was like the female version of Ogre from Revenge of the Nerds. She was a beast, and she had spiky hair.
I had a teacher like that.
And let me see. The 3rd, 4th grade teacher, she must not have been too damn remarkable because I can't even remember who she was. None of the 5th grade teachers, they were mostly old. The 6th grade teachers were all old, and one was a black guy who was totally gay.
See, 5th graders were 2 of the teachers I would have totally banged.
Yeah?
Yeah, the reading teacher and then the science teacher. Oh, yeah.
Go on.
There was Mrs. P. Miss P. Neither one of them were married. And Miss L. Oh, yeah. Both of them had blonde hair. Miss P was a little more candy-coated.
The fuck does that mean?
Well, she wasn't like Skinny Marie. She was kind of like Mrs. Number One Fan, but a little bit smaller.
Oh, so she was a full-figured woman as well.
Full-figured woman, yeah.
Okay.
And Mrs. L, petite, everything like that. Had her hair up really nice every day. Mrs. P, she had bigger tits.
Did she?
That much I could tell.
Yeah,
but
my
Mrs.
5th grade...
Miss L had better ass.
Yeah. See, my 5th grade teacher, I had a semi-attractive one, but she was in her 40s and married. And then there was the fucking troll next door. And then my actual homeroom teacher, I swear to God, she was so bitchy. I bet you she had not had a dick inside of her for like 20 years.
How old was she?
Probably in her late 30s or early 40s.
Really?
I saw her a few years ago, and she's like, oh my God, look at how big you are. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, look at how only your hair's gotten grayer, but the rest of your face pretty much looks the same. Ew. Yeah.
Well, some would say that she ages nicely.
Some would say that all they did was dye the hair on a foot-faced fuck. She was not attractive.
I didn't think she was attractive.
So once we get to junior high, there was one, and I had forgotten about her until right now. She was there for 1 year, and her name was Miss LeBlanc. So yeah, she was an art teacher, and then 7th grade art consisted of some weird types of projects. It's not like, you're making holiday-themed crap for your parents. She had us take a piece of paper once and then color it with a bunch of cool colors, and then we put black charcoal over it, and then we took a scratching tool to outline something over it. So there would be multicolored waves all throughout the outline of what we were drawing.
Okay.
She also taught us about like shading and drawing three-dimensional objects. I guarantee you at least once in my life I have pounded my meat thinking about her. And it'd probably go something like, yeah, Miss LeBlanc, talk to me about three-dimensional shading. Oh, God, you bitch, I want to come on your blonde hair.
I'm digging in very deep for my 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, and I can't come up with any teachers that were cute.
Miss LeBlanc, I would try to chat her up sometimes, but that was in between instances of when I was trying to look down this one girl's shirt who sat at my table. I was always dropping shit off the table, so she'd bend over forward to pick it up so I could look at her tits.
There was a girl in the desk in front of me in math class that would do that because she had a huge rack.
Did she?
For a 6th grader, oh my God. At least D's. Had to have been.
Hello.
Never seen anything that big.
We had a science teacher that came for 7th grade, and people called her Scary Mary. She did not have an attractive face. She looked like somebody's uncle, and we found out right away when she started teaching there she didn't shave her pits. She'd point at people and say, do you have an answer? And you'd see this thatch of thick black fucking hair. And then she had her brother Leon come in to help hang out one day and teach. And Leon would wear like these... He lived in South America. He was a man of the world. But clearly I felt like he was one of those guys that got involved with like the Christian Children's Fund so he could try to fuck kids. He had his shirt unbuttoned, 3 buttons down, so all this chest hair is flowing out. He looked like a goddamn truck stop pervert.
Oh, a lot lizard.
Well, no, he's not like a gigolo, but he's just like the kind of guy that would be working at either the gas station or the cafe and trying to hit on moms that were on family road trips that were coming through. Uh-huh. And then they'd find, pieces of their hair in his trailer 2 weeks later once they got done dredging the swamp for her body.
I had one 6th grade teacher, and I guess it wasn't a bad body, but not a very good face, and she had a lazy eye.
Oh.
But she was a good teacher.
Did she have a nickname for that lazy eye? Did you guys call her a cock eye or anything like that?
No.
You missed out. Because lazy eyes. Ooh, boy, do I love to make fun of some lazy eyes. I don't know which way to look at you when you talk. What is your problem?
There's nothing wrong with your eye, except for its work ethic.
Yeah. And most of my junior high teachers were guys anyway, so I wasn't sexually confused. And then high school, there wasn't a fuckable one in the whole bunch.
Mrs. B.
Mrs. B.
Oh yeah, I can't pronounce her last name, so she just had everybody call her Miss B. She was the DECA teacher.
I don't know what that means.
DECCA. It's like a program that teaches you how to do like business and stuff like that. I was in Business Professionals of America, so then that was another class, but they were kind of like rivalries.
How'd that turn out for you, that Business Professionals of America thing?
It was okay.
Yeah.
It didn't get me into business or anything.
No, because you work on a signing/road striping crew.
Well, I found what I really like to do.
I like to just tell dirty jokes.
I think that class was
me for that.
Really more for hanging out with. I had a few friends that were in the class, so it was like hanging out with a few friends. Got to leave school early and get extra credit for working. Mm-hmm. And then there were a ton of hot chicks in that class.
That's always good.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, it was Miss B, the DECA teacher. And...
yeah, see, there was a Miss B when I was in elementary and junior high, except she was the assistant principal. And she was like 6'3" and weighed about a deuce and a half. And then she also looked like somebody put zombie makeup on her. She had dark circles around her eyes. She is definitely going to be the one that's going for ladies' night at the bowling alley and doing unspeakable things to the most disgusting guys around last call out in the parking lot. Just desperate for any sort of male attention. And people used to mock her and say that she lived in a homeless shelter because she smelled funny. People started a rumor that they had a rat problem at her apartment building, and she caught wind of that and went searching desperately for the offending party who started the rumor. Never caught him. I ended up working with the guy years later. But, you think back to the most famous American teacher to fuck one of her students is Mary Kay Letourneau. Florida. She was fucking a 13-year-old. I don't have a picture. She's not very good looking.
Oh, okay.
But she ended up marrying the guy after she got out of jail.
How much time did she do?
I think 7 years.
Okay.
And they just recently separated. Well, they've been together for a long fucking time. Like 20-some years.
Oh, because it was a long, long time ago.
Yeah, she was the very first, most prominent teacher to get caught dipping into that sweet, sweet youth dick. And
There's some moms, too.
it's
Moms
different.
of teenage kids. Well, it's different, but...
They're not in a position of authority where they're like your teacher. You don't go to a building and people are entrusting their children to you to educate them and watch over them. They might be like, okay, go to your friend's house and you guys are going to have a sleepover. Cool. Hopefully nobody feeds you liquor and then, blows you.
Yeah, and then you find out the mom is naked doing Twister with Jell-O shots.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No,
as
there
long as
isn't.
the mom's attractive.
She was very attractive.
Was she?
Yeah, I thought.
Oh, is this an actual story?
This is an actual story.
You should probably lead with that, not
Oh,
just the
sorry.
hypotheticals.
I thought you knew about that one. Well,
Fuck
no,
no.
because you researched it.
I'm sure I could have Googled moms who fuck their kids' friends and gotten a lot more results out of that.
Yeah, maybe.
But then, once again, I think of ones I've heard about in the news the last few years, and it's always, oh, they had the kids over for a party, and she had sex with 2 or 3 of them. Who are these women that are that hungry for dick? It's not like, I'm going to find one student, and we're going to fall in love, because you're my soulmate, and I found you, and we're so akin to each other spiritually. It's she started texting with the students and sending pictures of her boobs, and then they had a beer party, and then she knobbed off 3 of them, and then the cops caught wind of it because he showed video of his dick in her mouth to some kids at school, and then the principal had to act like he was angry versus jealous because he wanted to give all of the students their luckiest boy in the world awards because that particular teacher happened to be 23 and hot as hell. And here's the problem. You get these teachers that are in their early 20s. Clearly, you're very intelligent to be having a career at that age. Like right out of the gate, fresh out of college, and you've got a teaching career.
Yeah.
And then you're around all these hormonal, muscular boys that are full of hormones and cum.
And are ready to fuck at any moment.
And they're all walking around with their shoulder pads off after football practice, glistening in the sun with sweat and muscle. And you're like, oh my, I can't control myself. I need to get me some of that. I guess I should have played football. Maybe my chances would have improved.
Maybe I should have been in DECA.
Well, I mean, you look at it this way. And I'm not saying, oh, woe is me, I didn't get molested. But I was an altar boy and nobody tried to touch me. And I never had a teacher hit on me in any way. Why? Why wasn't I worthy? Probably because I didn't go to school in Texas.
Probably.
Well, it's like big, strong, muscular football culture. Football is life down in Texas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I doubt any of these hot teachers are blowing the nerdy kids. Like, he's so into Game of Thrones, and you should see he's in honors college math in 10th grade, and I just cannot keep his dick out of my mouth. No one has ever uttered a phrase like that.
Nope.
They might have said, oh, yeah, boys, let's hang out, and we'll smoke a little weed, and then you guys can run a train on me.
Make me feel good.
These things happen. Nobody I know ever had any experiences like that. I put out a text to the listening audience looking for opinions, and I solicited some of the following. Right out of the gate, here's Neil to kill my buzz. Never had a hot teacher.
Fuck!
Which I can't argue with. I never had a hot teacher. I had one good-looking teacher that I almost forgot about her. That's how little of an impression she made on me. Probably because I was getting teased a lot that year by this one asshole, Matt Barton. He's lucky I never picked up a chair and laid it across the back of his head. It crossed my mind. Ow! Many times I wanted to just hurt the shit out of this kid. He was such a prick. His mom was divorced and remarried. He had a younger brother, and the age gap was like 9 years, so clearly it wasn't planned. And I just thought, why is he such a fucker that he's got to make fun of me and a handful of other people all the time? And then he acted like he was my friend. And he was an altar boy. I wish one of the priests would have fucked him right in the mouth. It would have made all of the emotional abuse that I had to withstand all the more worth it to know that he could never, ever make people forget that he had to suck a priest's dick. But it never happened, which is just another reason why I don't believe in God. Dr. Murr. Obviously, I was a teenage boy, and no, I was scrawny with a ponytail. I wouldn't doubt one of the athletes was tearing up some authoritative sniz. I like how he's thinking. Scotty. Never been hit on, but I wish I did by my home ec teacher. Let me tell you, I definitely got straight A's there. She was that attractive that he tried that hard.
Wow.
It's pretty hard to flunk home ec.
Just set the kitchen on fire. I'm sure you'll get an F.
Here's Mandy, the waxing artist. I thought one of my student teachers was hot in high school. My health teacher was fucking weird, but didn't really hit on anyone. My friend Nani, he was on Blumpkin and Friends one episode, and we were talking about school. I believe it was called School Days, with a Z. Same schools, kindergarten through senior year. And he sends me a text saying, oh, I forget what her name was, but like our third grade band teacher one time, and I think we've talked about this, she bent down in front of the whole class forward and she didn't have a bra on. He's like, I saw the whole thing. I'm like, who are you talking about? Because we had multiple music teachers. Mm-hmm. There was this one teacher we had, her name was Mrs. Alfieri.
Okay.
I forgot about her until he brought her up. She was gorgeous. She puts Miss LeBlanc to fucking shame. I was too young to know about what I would do to a woman like that. But holy Christ, if me now could go back in time and hang out with Miss Alfieri then, I don't think she was married. I think she was divorced. Her son went to our school, so this would have been awkward for him. But that woman, I would fuck her so many different ways. Holy Christ. And then Nani brings up, he's like, oh, and then in high school, yeah, Mrs. I totally would have banged the shit out of her. And I'm like, ew, she had a man's haircut and no tits. She was like a human string bean, and she was a total bitch. Now she's the principal. I did not like her at all. She was the super ultra pro-lifer.
Okay.
Yeah. So she was the one that brought in the abortion clinic lady whose job it was to put together all the aborted baby parts to make sure they got everything out. That's the teacher who wouldn't let it go. And for the granddaddy of inputs right here, Mrs. Number One Fan.
Oh, I can't wait to hear what she said.
Oh, my damn. My pre-algebra teacher in 9th grade. Don't recall his name, but oh my God, capital OMG, I wanted him badly. He reminds me of a younger Robert Redford. It's a reference. Never been hit on by a teacher, but caught one staring at my boobs once.
What?
Okay.
And Reese Hartfelt. Never been hit on. Can't remember her name, but we definitely had a hot teacher in high school. So it sounds like if you go to schools around here, because it's the Midwest and we're flyover country and we're just kind of like, ugh,
yeah,
you might get like one attractive teacher per school.
But you go down south where there's beaches, there's fun in the sun.
Gosh.
It's good sunny weather most of the year. Yeah, the hotties probably hang out down there.
Well, they have like entire genres of porn dedicated to this. You know?
What?
The teacher is sitting there. She's a hot-ass chick with her shirt unbuttoned, like 2 or 3 buttons, tied up, so she's got a belly shirt and a skirt on and knee-high boots.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I know
shit like that. And
I always thought that was like, student.
Well, it's just funny, because if a guy does it, it's like, this total son of a bitch is preying on children.
It's preying on children, yeah.
But if a female does it, holy Christ. I mean, would you be mad? Let's say, Pubert, you caught him getting attention from a teacher. Not now. Wait a few years. Let's say he's 16, 17, 18. Mm-hmm. Or maybe Bubba, when he's the same age. Either one of your boys getting banged by a moderately attractive teacher who does not have any STDs. Would you be upset?
A little.
You struggled just to come up with that moral savior of an answer.
It's like, where's my moral grounds down? Because I know when I was a kid, I would have been all fucking for it. But
your dad would have been like, way to fucking go.
As a parent, it's different now, I guess.
It is. My dad, he would have been outraged because my mom would have been outraged. And he has to do what she says because she pretty much owns him. I'm surprised your brother never. Your brother was an early bloomer.
With a teacher? Not that I know of.
You should fucking... I would not be shocked if your brother said, oh, yeah,
I don't think he ever did. I had a lot of the same teachers he did. We were only 3 years apart.
What if you walk into class one day and there's a hot teacher and she's like, oh, are you related to so-and-so? Yeah, it's my brother.
Asked me that.
And they're like, huh, a lot of difference between you two.
I remember those.
As she starts buttoning up her blouse more.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's hurtful.
Must have been all those sweet, sweet KQRS and Dare shirts you were wearing.
Yep. What did he KQRA? I didn't start wearing those till after high school.
You
Even then,
still
I
had KQ
rarely
shirts.
ever wore them.
Let's just
Not
say that
back
the
then.
majority of time when I hung out with you when we were growing up, you had a black T-shirt on.
I had black T-shirt, Ocean Pacific, because that was like a really popular brand from the West Coast back then. And yeah, Dare shirts. I admit it. I had 3 of the damn things. I didn't have a ton of clothing.
Yeah. Okay, so another hypothetical here. Say you're not married. There's no Mrs. Number One fan. One of your son's teachers hits on you. Do you do it?
If I'm not married, yeah.
See, I immediately, when the juice started going to school,
The beast.
was like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm just scoping out the teachers here. And I got to say, I'm not really impressed. I was kind of hoping she'd have a hot teacher. Really, you're going to flirt with her
Really?
teachers? Is that you're going to be the dad that tries to bang her teachers? I'm like, hey. 1, I'm not tied down. And 2, it feels good to be wanted.
Yeah, men just want to be wanted.
Now, I will say her pre-K teacher was a very attractive woman, but not the kind of woman that would do anything with a guy like me. She was married. She had kids. She probably went to church on Sundays. But I definitely would have tongue-darted her fun hole. And then this year, I don't know who this girl is. She is right in that sweet spot, early 20s range. Gorgeous blonde, right?
Mm-hmm.
Always sitting outside with the juice after school. She's like one of those teachers that would go out and like make sure the kids get on the right bus and that they didn't cross into the parking lot and get hit by a car.
Mm-hmm.
It was until the second to last day of school, I kept repeatedly asking the juice, I'm like, do you even know her name? Like, this nice teacher sits outside with you all the time, and you don't even know her name? No, I don't know her name. And what I'm secretly thinking is, I would like a name to go with the face for when I touch myself. Because clearly this is never going to happen. Because
name helps.
I'm me, and she's her. And 2, I'm, taking my dick off the map. So, sorry, Dirty B. But finally, I see her name tag. She's like talking to some kid, and I'm walking by. I'm like, okay, name. Yeah, no, you look like a Kayla. Yeah, no, I totally get that.
Mm-hmm.
All other things considered, if the situation was different and like I'd struck up some conversation with this chick, I would have no problem plowing any of my daughter's teachers that were women.
Oh, the whole school is full of them, huh?
No, I'm just saying from now until they graduate, at no point in my life do I think I'd ever have a moral quandary with sticking my dick in a teacher. I'm not going to be like, so my kid's going to get better grades, right? I'm not doing it for that. I'm going to do it because I'm a whore.
Yeah.
And I like sniz.
That's the whole reason why I would do it.
Right. And who wouldn't want to be like, yeah, I'm that dad that fucked my kid's teacher.
I could just see you going at it just like, oh, she's failing? Okay, I'll just tell her to try harder.
And I'm like, I'll try to get her into some after-school tutoring program. While we're at it, if you could just get on top of me but then turn around, I kind of want to see your ass cheeks clap while you bounce up and down on it. That's called reverse cowgirl. There's your lesson for the day.
That is correct.
I'm sitting here thinking when we go back to the, I wouldn't fuck my daughter's teachers just so she could have a better grade. I do believe in some of the stories that I read about those teachers fucking their male students, those students were getting better grades.
Because of the fucking?
It seems like it. The one I remember, I can't remember where it was, but it was actually 2 teachers fucking the same kid. And they were saying when they started looking back at the grades and everything, because they investigate everything, he was doing piss poor in both their classrooms. And about the time their relationship bloomed, is his grades started going up.
That's not, well, maybe because of all that extra personalized attention that they were giving him, like he would get at a charter school.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
It's clearly not because he was giving them lots and lots of back-breaking good love. Nobody would ever
he was
be
trying
crooked
just harder
like that.
in school.
Yes, that's what's going on. 2 teachers fucking the same kid.
Mm-hmm. One was brunette, and one was blonde. I remember that much.
And
I can't remember
they
the
were
names.
comparing notes.
One was married. She's now divorced. But
Go
that's
figure.
okay. She'll land another guy. She's good enough looking. And the other one was single.
I like how you're focusing solely on her attractiveness and not the moral abhorrence of fucking an underage boy and
Well,
then
he was
cheating on her
17.
husband with the... Very true. He's basically a man.
See, I mean, again, if Pubert was, 17, almost 18, fucking a teacher, I just hope she's not married.
I'm just telling you right now, it's not going to happen for either one of those boys.
No, it's not.
It's not. They don't have the personality to pull that. Neither one of them is
Not
this
right
weird
now. Who knows
Hugh
what'll happen in a
Hefner
few years.
There's no way with that puby mustache and just...
Oh, he'll learn to shave soon enough. He's like feel like teaching him.
Well, you better get him like a bench press or something so he can muscle up to improve his chances.
He's scrawny.
Yeah.
That's true.
Wow.
We were having a campfire the other night, and he was out there for like 20 minutes, and it was humid out and everything, but I'm out there wearing jeans and a t-shirt because that's what I wear at work.
Mm-hmm.
He goes in the house, and Mrs. Number One fan comes out and is like, do you know why Pubert went into the house? I was like, no, I didn't ask him. He said he was starting to get sweaty. And I was just like, well, he's a pussy. What can I do about it?
Man the fuck up.
Yeah, no shit. I'm getting sweaty. I'm going to go in the house.
I'm getting sweaty. I don't want to smell. I want to go sit inside where it's cool, and I'm going to play Game Boy and just stay cool. He doesn't actually sound like a very effeminate gay boy. I'm just mocking him that way.
You got to be kidding me.
I tell you what, though, I ever catch any of the male teachers hitting on my kids, there's going to be some sudden string of reported absences.
I'm kind of in the same boat.
Yeah.
Because I got 2 daughters, and yeah, I think I would fucking kill a teacher.
Well, I don't know if I'd kill him as much as I'd probably drag him out into the woods, chain him to a tree, stuck a sock in their mouth, and duct tape it so that they can't scream, and then I might pour honey on them.
Okay, so you're not killing them, but there's certainly a situation where they could be.
No. I'm sure they'll wiggle free. I've seen enough television shows. A jogger will come by and find them as they're being eaten alive by like a bear or a coyote or something. And they'll just have some wounds, but not be dead.
I was watching a video today. Guy starts like messing with a kid, and the kid's dad walks up behind the guy and is just like, quit messing with my kids. Like, what you gonna do about it? It's like, you need to be worried. It's like, but what? I'm not afraid to go to jail. It's like, no, not about you going to jail. And he pulls out a baseball bat. It's like, about me going to jail.
Wow.
I'm gonna bust your fucking kneecaps.
How did that video end?
I don't think the video played all the way through because after a couple of examples of what he would do to this guy if he kept fucking with his kid, the guy's like, oh, really? And then it cut. So I don't know if the whole video played.
That's kind of anticlimactic.
It was. I just thought it was funny. It's like, you don't got to worry about dying. You got to worry about me going to jail. He pulled out a baseball bat. It's just like, yeah.
Well, wrapping up here, my research has pretty much led me to believe that this is almost an exclusively American problem.
No, it's worldwide. It's just we like to advertise that shit here. That's all the media coverage. Oh, well, we're dirty civilization and, we're just abhorrent and everything like that. And it's like, that's the whole fucking world because it's human nature. I'm
People
sorry.
like to fuck.
A teacher in mid-20s, 30s, maybe even early 40s if they're really attractive and they're married, they're not getting that attention from their husband because their husband's working and probably doesn't find the wife attractive because they've been married for 10, 15 years or whatever. His sex drive has gone down. Her sex drive is going up because in between, 30 and the age of 45? Somewhere in there. I can't remember the exact numbers. That's a woman's sexual peak. A man's sexual peak is like before the age of 30. So these teachers, these women, and I'm going to say world over, are fucking kids that are going to give them a fuck because they want it. And they're not going to get it from people their own age because they can't.
I find it ironic that the age when a woman hits her sexual peak is also the same age range when they start declining in attractiveness to men of the same age range. Mm-hmm. And which is why you get these guys with midlife crises that go start fucking 22-year-olds.
Yep.
There should be a rule where you have to be 35 to teach kids older than 10. Let's keep all the attractive young teachers with the elementary age. They might say that's discrimination, but hey, you got to earn your way up to those older grades. We probably wouldn't have this problem if we didn't stick a bunch of hot blonde 20-somethings in these goddamn English and math classes in high school with all these muscly football boys and basketball jocks and hockey players and baseball pitchers that are looking to get their dick wet.
Yeah. What kind of 23-year-old teacher's like, I'm going to go teach kids that are barely 5 years younger than me? I mean, like, you're going to be seen as an authority figure. No, sorry. They're going to see you as a sex object.
Nobody
Sadly.
sees me as a sex object.
Nobody in my whole life has seen me that way.
Oh.
Maybe Mrs. Number One.
I'm marrying you because you're like a walking dildo to me. Throw it in my ass. Oh.
I love anal.
Oh. Well, I think that somebody should do a follow-up study on all these kids that get caught getting fucked by teachers and see how many of them grow up to be senators. Future leaders of the world there.
Clergy.
Capitalizing on opportunity. Why would they be in the clergy?
I don't know, just derangement.
Oh, yes. I'm so emotionally damaged from all the sweet, unprotected sex I had with my attractive 24-year-old blonde gym teacher.
You know, some of those kids claim that they're emotionally scarred from it, even though they were loving every second of it.
Well, yeah, that's the moms. It's always the moms. The dads aren't like, yo, I'm so disappointed in you for not fucking her in the mouth more. Come on. Didn't I teach you better to start off with getting as many BJs as possible?
I didn't want to. She made me do it. Bullshit. You didn't have to go to her house.
Interact with the show on Twitter at What Do We Call It. That is at What Do We Call It. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/group/What Do We Call It podcast show. For the What Do We Call It podcast, I'm Jmann.
I'm number one fan, Tim.
And that's the end.